Now at 9, local kids get creative while cuddling up to kittens looking for new homes. Plus, an Arkansas mass shooting leaves 2 dead and 4 injured. And we'll hear the top consumer complaints for Missouri residents last year.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Kids in Joplin were encouraged to get creative with some furry friends today. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Anthony Saviello. KOAM's Samantha Walker attended the Paws for Love event at 9 Lives Cat Rescue.
I love cats. I'm an animal person.
Well, what we're doing here is the Paws for Love event. We'd like to start these on a monthly basis as to where we come in and we have crafts for both adults and children to come in and do and learn a little bit about the cats, spend some time with the cats that are adoptable in the shelter area, in the lounge, and just generally have a good time and play some games and get to know cats.
We could paint, we could do tattoos, or, we could play with the cats, all that stuff.
Kids are our future, and they're the ones that can do the outreach with the animals. They do so much, the reading with the animals and spending time with them. I think that is necessary.
I like cats because they're cute, they purr a lot when they're happy, they wag their tail when they want to play sometimes.
It's fun because usually kids these days play on electronics a lot. You could get out of the house and go somewhere with your parents and hang out with animals or something.
If the cats don't get a home, then they're just gonna stay here for ever. And we don't want that to happen, so we just want people to adopt them.
They have souls like me and you.
Organizers say 9 Lives Rescue and Adoption Center plans to host more events like today's Paws for Love. They say they are hoping to plan similar events for adults as well. The Cornell Arts and Entertainment Center in Joplin today hosted a second Sunday cinema event. The purpose of the event is to recognize the work of local regional filmmakers. Last week, KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke with the filmmaker of In the Morning, a documentary about former Joplin police officer Jake Reed. Today, we spoke to an organizer about the other films that were showcased.
For Second Sunday Cinema, we're trying to show one feature film, so it's going to be over 40 minutes long, one feature film, and then at least a couple of shorts as well each month. And so 3 films today, but most of these are winners or were just really favorites from our Uplift Film Festival.
Films shown today included The Center, Where the River Divides, and In the Morning. St. Patrick's Day celebrations are underway. Art Central in Carthage today kicked off the holiday by creating St. Patrick's Day gnomes. Attendees were provided supplies for their creation, including yarn for hair, hats, and pins.
Gnomes are so much fun, and to me with a gnome it's less detail as far as, if you try to create other things, you're dealing with the eyes, the mouths and stuff. With the gnomes, you just got this little pug nose and no eyes to deal with, but it leaves a little bit for your imagination to roll.
Today's workshop began at 2 this afternoon and wrapped up around 5. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us for a first look at our weather.
So we had a pretty nice day today. It was sunny. Temperatures got up to the mid-60s. So it was a really gorgeous day, and we had a nice sunset too. But right now it is 53 and winds are pretty light out of the south. That's going to bring those temperatures up some more tomorrow. Temperatures across the region are in the low 50s. We're dropping down to the low to mid 40s for our low, about 41 degrees tonight. But we don't have any rain in the area. And our next system isn't coming in until Tuesday. It's still sitting off on the west coast, so it'll come in Tuesday evening. We may see some thunderstorms with that. Another chance of rain Wednesday evening, and that continues Thursday through Friday. But through tomorrow, it's going to be sunny skies, upper 60s, and it's going to be pretty nice weather all the way through Tuesday evening. I'll have more details for you up next.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. In Arkansas, 2 people were killed in a shooting at a private party early Sunday. Several others were hurt. Authorities in Jonesboro say they responded to a call to an abandoned building where people were still gathered just before 5 a.m. The police say it was a domestic shooting and that 2 of the female victims were sisters. The shooter, who was a male, was also reportedly connected to one of the females. Police say the alleged shooter is also dead, but no further information was given. The Missouri Attorney General's office has come out with its top consumer complaints from the past year. Joe Hickman has a look at the scams, deceptive practices, and annoying activities.
The number one gripe of people who contact the Missouri Attorney General's office is about unwanted phone calls, from telemarketers to violations of the no-call list.
It's an invasion of privacy, really.
The Attorney General's office maintains the no-call list, which has 4.3 million registrations. But keep in mind that while the no-call list stops unwanted sales calls from real companies who follow the law, it will not stop unsolicited calls from unscrupulous operators trying to deceive you into giving up sensitive information or money. To help address that problem, there are various apps available that can filter and detect spam calls. Here's the rest of the top 5, with automotive complaints at number 2, most of them concerning car repairs. Number 3 is real estate and construction complaints, with home repair contractors the most common mentioned. Philip Johnson of Marionville is one of 8 people who filed a Better Business Bureau complaint against a general contractor who has an F rating from the BBB. Johnson paid $4,500 up front to get work done on his new house, only to have the hired help
partially showing up, partially not showing up, sometimes not showing up at all, and all kinds of different excuses. He finally just stopped coming by at all.
Well, anytime you hire someone for a service or go to purchase a product, particularly if it's someone you've never done business with, you want to do your research first.
I didn't ask for any references, and that is probably the number one thing that I look at now and say that I should have done.
Number 6 through 10 on the complaint list include phone or online cases where people are billed for services they didn't order, a host of different timeshare-related problems, and number 8, mail and phone solicitations regarding sweepstakes, lottery, or other scams, healthcare billing disputes and fights with insurance companies, and run-ins with professional services like moving or delivery services, towing, or funeral homes. And one more important piece of advice is to have
certainly a healthy dose of skepticism for what we see online, just being aware that it can happen to anyone.
Coming up, sports betting could soon be legal in the state of Missouri. The Powerball jackpot is still on the rise. It's now estimated at $532 million. That's because no tickets match the winning numbers that were drawn Saturday night. The next Powerball drawing is Monday night, where a very lucky winner could take home a one-time cash payout option of $260 million. Missouri House Minority Leader Crystal Quaid has introduced legislation that would settle dispute over gaming machines. The city of Springfield recently banned the machines. This bill from the Springfield lawmaker would also authorize sports betting in the state. Joe Hickman has more.
No matter where you go, whether it's a gas station or walking through your neighborhood, these machines are everywhere. It's quite a problem. And unfortunately, no one is doing anything about them.
But Quaid is attempting to do something about it by introducing House Bill 2835 that would legalize and regulate those machines to ensure that they are fair and compliant. The proposed law would limit businesses to having no more than 5 machines, which would have to be in a private area away from children. The bill also would impose state taxes on the devices, with estimates of up to $500 million in new state income.
Some will go to education and some will go into support public safety.
Springfield recently became the first city in the state to ban gaming machines, resulting in a lawsuit by the device's owners, Torch Electronics. And at the time, their attorney told us he preferred the matter be decided at the state level.
Missouri gaming laws are out of date and are vague in some areas. Our overall position on this is that the legislature needs to address it.
Right now, there are 8 bills in the House and Senate that would address it. Quaid's bill would authorize the machines to operate, but also allow that individual cities like Springfield could still impose their own bans.
I believe that the local level should be able to decide what their communities look like, and my bill absolutely would not get in the way of that.
Those games are legal if they're outside the city limits, but they're illegal inside the city limits. That's not a way to regulate. This needs to be addressed at the state level, not the city level.
Quaid's bill would also legalize sports betting, which is not allowed in Missouri, even though it is in most surrounding states. And there's a ballot initiative to legalize wagering in Missouri that's already in the works.
Citizens utilize that when the legislature is not doing what they're asking them to do. And we know that sports wagering has been a big priority for lots of folks for a very long time.
Quaid's proposal would authorize the Missouri Gaming Commission to oversee, regulate, and tax sports wagering operations. And the reason both sports betting and gaming machines are in the same bill?
There have been a few state senators who have partnered this issue of illegal machines and sports betting all into one and are holding up the Senate, not allowing anything to get through one without the other.
Google announces new editing options for its Gemini artificial intelligence chatbots. The technology giant says it's rolling out a new feature that will allow users of the chatbot to now prompt Gemini to edit responses users consider inaccurate or just not the right one for their purposes. Google says users can now select text portions, give instructions, and get more desired outcomes in results. Gemini will now also provide citations for sources. The changes come following recent backlashes over inappropriate responses on some topics. Miami Beach law enforcement are trying to put a lid on the chaos that comes with spring break in efforts to reduce the reported increase in crime. Larry Seward has more.
At the city limits, most of Friday night's traffic rolled away from South Beach toward downtown Miami, followed by swarms of flashing lights and frustration.
This is crazy.
Between drunk driving checkpoints, state troopers using license plate readers to find people with warrants, and parking bans for visitors, the first wave of spring break's peak crowds barely caused a ripple.
The goal is very simple. Our city is breaking up with spring break, and what that means is we're breaking up with the bad behavior, the unlawful behavior that we've seen in previous years.
Last March, gunfire killed 2 people on Ocean Drive. A year later,
they're just scaring people away.
Visitors see 6 p.m. beach curfews, roadblocks, barricades, armored police trucks, and more uniforms than ever.
I'm waiting to get my truck from India, and it's like I can't get it.
People parked in the wrong spot.
You guys were forced to pay cash, right?
Yep,
$547.
Face towing bills more expensive than usual.
The tow was $345.
They want cash.
They want cash.
Jeff from Orlando says a wrecker took his rental as he checked into his Airbnb.
We came down, just saw friends, and they parked in the spot in there. We literally went in, checked the place out, boom, boom, gone.
The city suggested people take Ubers to avoid traffic, but tourists told us drivers avoided them.
We have to walk because the Ubers can't even get to the road that we need to get to, so we have to walk, and it's not safe at night.
On the water, parties cruised on.
I want to pull my hair out.
But Party Boat Bobby saw customers cancel trips. Many sound afraid of getting stuck between his dock and the Venetian Marina and Miami Beach.
I think it's important to maintain a safety aspect, but to shut down all traffic patterns and people just don't want to come. They're scared to come. They don't want to get caught in the traffic.
Police caught some driving with open bottles of alcohol, a crackdown that will continue throughout March. Expect this same sobriety checkpoint on 5th Street Saturday and Sunday after 7 p.m. And police here plan a similar setup next weekend too.
Lindsay is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, the U.S. government addresses questions about UFOs and whether or not there is any evidence that we are not alone in the universe.
We had a gorgeous Sunday today. Sunny skies and temperatures in the low 60s. I was outside. It was really a great day. Taking a look at our Cornell complex downtown Joplin, it's still a clear night. Temperatures are cooling off, but only down to about 41 degrees, so not as cold as what they got last night, with our low being 28. So it was a pretty chilly night, but our high was 62, so it was a lot better than what we saw the day before. Still closer to average for what we're seeing around this time of year, but that should change in the next couple of days. We're going to start to push up to 70 and even a little bit higher than that, with our next system rolling in on Tuesday, still off on the west coast, will be making its way Tuesday evening. Right now, temperatures across the region are in the low 50s, dropping down to the low 40s for our low, pretty much consistently across every county And as you can see, our trend started off 5 p.m. 51 on Saturday and getting up to 62 today. So it was a lot warmer than what we saw yesterday and even warmer than the day before. And tomorrow by noon, getting up to upper 50s, 56, and sunny all day long. So we've got one more really gorgeous day ahead before the rain starts to make its way through. And we could thank that ridge that formed in our area. It'll start to push out and we'll see this trough form, and that trough brings instability to the atmosphere, causing us to have these clouds, the rain chances, and even the thunderstorm chances that we're going to see Tuesday evening. Here it's popping up around 9 p.m. is when we're going to get our heaviest rain, but we could start to see that come in a little bit earlier. And then again, Wednesday afternoon is when we'll see some more rain chances. Now let's take a closer look at that. Temperatures are getting into the 70s, and here's Tuesday. Like I said, around 8 p.m. rain starts to push in, but the heavier rain and the chances of thunderstorms come in a little bit later after around 10 p.m. on Tuesday and into Wednesday morning. It'll clear out, giving us a mostly clear day on Wednesday with some showers rolling in a little bit later that afternoon around 4:30, and still heavy rain in Kansas City. Now, that's where they're going to see thunderstorms. I still have a thunderstorm chance for Wednesday just in case that system wants to shift a little bit more south and get some of our northern counties. Flashing forward to Thursday, 7 a.m., pretty heavy rain in Parsons and Nevada, but the rest of us are going to see rain all day long Thursday, and even on Friday we'll see some more rain showers. Now, clearing out through Saturday, we could see some showers late Saturday night. Pretty light, but there is a possibility for that. Right now I just have thunderstorm chances on Tuesday, evening showers on Wednesday, and thunderstorm chances Thursday and Friday, with the highest percent of chance of thunderstorms actually on Thursday. For the rest of the weekend, next weekend, it will be pretty nice. Sunny skies, temperatures a little bit chillier, but still pretty gorgeous ahead.
Beautiful weather.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
How do your dogs feel about the rain?
One dog loves it, the other one not so much.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Thanks, Lindsay. You may have woke up an hour late this morning, but besides being a little cranky, that the time effect may have also changed, it affected your health. Health officials and several studies show a surge in heart attacks, strokes, and even car fatalities after the March time change. That's why doctors recommend preparing for a new schedule, staying active with regular exercise, going to bed 10 to 15 minutes earlier, and cutting excessive alcohol drinking can help your body adapt better. Experts say it's also a good idea to go outside after waking up. Coming up, more info on the helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 3 U.S. personnel. Are we alone in the universe? A new DoD report states that the U.S. government's official position is that we don't have evidence that we aren't. But some members of Congress are taking it with a grain of salt. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has that story.
This report is coming from the Defense Department. It was handed to Congress, and it says the U.S. government has no evidence of alien technology.
What we found is that claims of hidden programs are largely the result of circular reporting by a small group, repeating what they heard from others, and that many people have sincerely misinterpreted real events or mistaken sensitive U.S. programs as UAP or being extraterrestrial exploitation.
The review is sweeping, covering all U.S. government investigatory efforts since 1945. It states most sightings of unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs, were ordinary objects and the result of misidentification. The findings also rebut whistleblower claims that the U.S. has been reverse engineering alien spacecraft and is concealing that program from the public. The DoD argues there is no proof of that, but the report acknowledges the Department of Homeland Security once received a proposal to reverse engineer any discovered extraterrestrial technology. Though the program was not approved, it was never reported to Congress, which may be one reason why some lawmakers are still skeptical.
They certainly haven't been totally transparent with the information they do have. If it's not a UFO, then is it a weapon system?
If you don't give people a clear answer, and sometimes the clearest answer you can give is, I don't know, some will be suspicious of that.
While the U.S. government says they have no evidence of aliens or alien spacecraft, the Pentagon is developing sensor kits to help them collect data on unidentified objects in sky or space. On Capitol Hill, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
The U.S. military makes airdrops of life-saving food and water into northern Gaza. U.S. Air Force planes released 88 bundles over the area. The supply drops included about 41,400 meals and 2,300 bottles of water. The airdrops were backed by the U.S., the European Union, the United Arab Emirates, and other countries. Palestine's Hamas-run Health Ministry says about 30,900 Palestinians have been killed since the start of the war. 2 National Guard soldiers and a Border Patrol agent were killed Friday when the chopper they were flying in crashed near the U.S.-Mexico border. Fox News correspondent Jeff Paul has the latest.
New reactions surrounding the deadly helicopter crash here at the U.S.-Mexico border. President Joe Biden releasing a statement sending his condolences, saying in part, quote, "These brave Americans dedicated their lives to protecting our nation. They signed up knowing the risks and believing in the mission of serving their fellow Americans by keeping our nation safe. Our gratitude is profound, and their sacrifice will never be forgotten." The crash happened Friday afternoon just before 3 p.m. in La Grula, Texas. We know the crew was conducting a federal support mission at the border and was not related to Texas's ongoing Operation Lone Star. 4 were on board at the time, flying in a UH-72 Lakota helicopter assigned to the southwest border. The only survivor, a soldier who sources say is in critical condition. Former acting ICE Director Tom Homan had this to say about the crash.
The men and women of the Border Patrol, they're patriots. They're the finest of the finest, down there putting their lives on line. And I hope every American understands the difficult job they have.
In Eagle Pass, Texas, migrants continue to arrive at the southern border. On Friday, our cameras captured this group of nearly 100 migrants at a nearby hydro plant. This is just outside of the fenced-off area in Shelby Park. And while we aren't seeing as many of the big groups arriving here at the U.S.-Mexico border, we are still seeing some of the smaller groups arriving here in Eagle Pass, Texas. And police are responding to calls of suspected human smuggling. In Eagle Pass, Texas, Jeff Paul, Fox News.
Up next, snow leopards at the Cincinnati Zoo get an unwelcome visitor. No one likes intruders, not even when they're fake. Staff at the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden placed a papier-mâché yeti in the snow leopard's habitat, and the animals didn't know what to think. They curiously checked out the creature. One almost ripped off a leg. This was part of an enrichment activity for physical and mental stimulation. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. Reports of, modifications to firearms are contributing to more Americans being killed by gun violence. We'll have more coming up. Law enforcement officials say tiny gun attachments that are almost impossible to spot can be used to make a firearm even more deadly. And they're reported to be rapidly increasing the number of Americans hurt or killed by gun violence. Fox News correspondent CB Cotton has more.
A deadly new industry contributing to the surge of gun violence across the country, sometimes called conversion devices, or switches. They're small attachments made of metal or plastic that can make a gun fully automatic.
All aimed at doing the same thing, which is making a legal firearm into an illegal machine gun.
The modifications are illegal under federal law, but easily obtained, ordered online, or made with a 3D printer. Instead of firing one round at a time, a semi-automatic weapon now keeps firing until the shooter lets go of the trigger. Between 2017 and 2021, the ATF reported a 570% increase in the number of the devices seized by police. They're frequently used in gang violence and significantly increase the risk to innocent bystanders.
It used to be that 5 rounds, 4 rounds were fired, and now 50, 60, 70, 80 rounds are exchanged in that same time period back and forth.
11-year-old Dominique Davis was near his mom's home in Cincinnati when he was hit by gunfire from a passing car. Police say 22 shots were fired in the span of just a few seconds, likely through the use of a conversion device. His father, now grieving an unimaginable loss.
He didn't deserve to go like
at all. He didn't deserve to go like he did, and it wasn't his time.
Many states don't have specific laws against the devices. The ATF is now working to train local law enforcement agencies on how to spot them and get them off the streets. Reporting in New York, CB Cotton, Fox News.
Still ahead, Lindsay has another complete look at your forecast, and a popular Easter Bunny candy company may have a new mascot.
Well, I hope everyone had a really wonderful Sunday. It was a great day today, and we have a great looking day tomorrow as well. Taking a look outside at our Cornell Complex camera downtown Joplin, it's pretty clear. Winds are light out of the south, bringing us that warmer southerly breeze. So we are seeing a temperature warming trend actually all week next week, getting up into the 70s. But right now we're still right about average, with our load this morning being bitterly cold, 28 at 5 a.m. But our high getting up to the lower 60s, so not too bad. We saw a ridge in our area, but the next system we're tracking is still off to the west coast. That starts making its way into our area Tuesday evening, maybe a little bit later, but heaviest rain coming in around 9. But across the region today, temperatures right now are in the low 50s, 50, 51. Getting down to the low 40s for overnight low, being around 40, 41. So a lot warmer than what we saw last night with our warming trend starting today. Yesterday we saw our high of about 51, but today our high was 62. So 10-degree jump from there. And then tomorrow by noon, already well above 50s. We're getting up to 56 by 11 a.m. And as I said, our high getting up to about 68, 69. And then later this week, we'll see those temperatures get back into the 70s. So we had this ridge forming in our area that brought us that southerly breeze warming us up. Clouds start to roll in Tuesday, and the rain starts to make its way in a bit later Tuesday evening, with the heaviest rainfall coming in around 9 p.m. and later. We may see some thunderstorm chances 9 p.m. till about 1 a.m. on Wednesday. Clears out for the day on Wednesday, but more rain chances come in a little bit later that afternoon, 3:30 to 4 p.m. Pretty light rain with another heavy set of rainfall actually going through Kansas City. So we could see that shift into our area. We'll take a closer look at that right now. Rain starts to move in on the eastern counties. Nevada seeing some rain around 8 p.m. Pushes through with heavier chances of rain, maybe some thunderstorms a little bit later, 9 p.m. and later. Mostly after midnight is when we'll see it hit Joplin and our southern counties. Clearing for the day on Wednesday, but look at these temperatures, 78 in Parsons, 74 in Joplin, as those rain chances come in on the east coast, east region. And then we see those heavy rain chances sitting in Kansas City, but that could shift into our area. So I still do have a 20% thunderstorm chance for the region. Heavy rainfall on Thursday, and then kind of pretty widespread light, but we will see some thunderstorms with this, not too severe, and clearing for the rest of the day. We may see some showers a little bit later Saturday night. That's a low percentage, but it is a possibility. But next weekend will be pretty nice. Temperatures a little bit chillier down into the 50s again, but sunny skies, so it won't be too bad.
Yeah, sunny skies. I like sunny skies.
I do too. I like the rain though.
I don't like the rain.
Oh.
I do. It just depends. I like the rain, not the thunderstorms. I don't like that.
I like the thunderstorms.
Really?
Yeah.
You're crazy.
Well, I'm a meteorologist.
That's fair. Don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Coming up in sports, Pittsburgh State men's and women's basketball both play for the MIAA Tournament Championship. John Dales has highlights and post-game reaction from both games up next in sports.
Pittsburgh State women's basketball has the opportunity this afternoon to do something never before done in Gorilla program history. That is, win an MIAA tournament championship. After victories Friday and Saturday, Pitt State plays in the conference title game. It's Championship Sunday in Kansas City. Pitt State looks to make history. The Gorillas face the number 3 seed, Fort Hays State, in the championship. Opening period, Harper Schreiner buries the three-point shot in the corner. Next possession, Schreiner again. She gets the bucket plus the foul. She's fired up. Pitt State leads by 5 at halftime. Second half, Corinna Gerber takes this herself, coast-to-coast layup. She finishes there. Later in the half, Gerber again. This time, you can count the basket, and she gets fouled. We go to the closing quarter. In that fourth quarter, Jenna Shipley puts up a clutch triple here and drains it. Then, with just under a minute left, Pitt State leading by 4. Grace Pyle puts this game to bed with the biggest shot of the afternoon. Pittsburgh State women's basketball is crowned MIAA tournament champs for the first time in program history. The Gorillas defeat Fort Hays State 63-53.
Well, happy Championship Sunday from the MIAA tournament here in Kansas City. The Pittsburgh State women's basketball team is making their third appearance in the MIAA title game, and this team has a chance to do something that they've never done before in program history.
In all seriousness, uncharted territory for us as a program, and so I'm just extremely proud of the mindset and the effort that it takes to get here, because it's very hard. And the MIAA is it's a grind all year long with very, very, very good teams.
I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else, like especially Grace. I've been playing with her for a long time, probably like 6th grade, and so it was just something we've always talked about. We've always had this competitive nature, and it was something that we knew we were capable of at Pitt State with Coach David, and so I just love this team, and I love being a Gorilla. It's amazing.
Well, earlier this week, I asked Coach David if her team is worthy enough for an NCAA tournament bid, and she said no, not even close. Well, now we know that the answer is undoubtedly yes. In Kansas City, Brock Baldridge, KOAM Sports.
Thanks, Brock. After they clear off the court, put the nets back on the rims, and the championship celebrations end from the women's game, Pitt State men's basketball tries to make it a 2-for-2 Gorilla sweep as they take on Northwest Missouri in the MIAA Tournament Championship. In the men's conference championship, Pittsburgh State trying to upset the number 1 seed, Northwest Missouri. First points of the game, it's Bennett Sturtz who nails a three-pointer from the top of the key for the Bearcats. Next Bearcat possession, Daniel Abreu knocks down a three-pointer. Northwest would lead by 8. Pitt State trying to claw its way back into it. Jordan Freisen, MIAA Freshman of the Year, gets the turnaround jumper. Then Freisen shoots from downtown, and he connects. That one's good. Later in the first half, Jeremy Shaw looks to stay hot. He drains that three-pointer, but Pitt State just outmatched today. Byron Alexander makes the tough bucket here for Northwest. Northwest Missouri State goes on to handle the Gorillas the rest of the way. Pitt State falls 78-65. And over to the NFL. Last summer, it was a storyline that lasted into the regular season. When will the Chiefs and Chris Jones come to a contract agreement? Well, that problem gets solved much quicker this time around. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the 5-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle agrees to a 5-year contract with the Chiefs, which includes $95 million of guaranteed money. The deal is expected to be the highest ever average annual salary for an NFL defensive tackle. The Chiefs retain their best defender before free agency even begins.
Wow.
Back to college basketball, though. Just now, we also had the NCAA tournament selection show on the women's side. Pitt State, we already knew they were in. Missouri Southern hoping to get in with an at-large bid, but they don't get in, so the Lions get left out of the tournament.
Those Pitt State girls, though, man, just congratulations to them.
Yeah,
huge.
Big milestone for the program.
Absolutely. And Chris Jones, he got his money.
He did.
Chiefs, going to be back at it again next year. All right, thanks, John. We'll be right back. A mini horse named Peaches is competing in this year's Cadbury Bunny Contest. Cadbury launched this annual event in 2019. The company urges pet owners to enter for a chance to win. Brianna Borghi has more.
Come here, Peach. Come here, Peach. Go with the camera.
At just 26 inches tall, Peaches is vying for a big title. The miniature therapy horse who suffers from dwarfism is a semi-finalist in this year's Cadbury Bunny contest.
She not only loves the camera, but she's white and fluffy and looks like a bunny, and she is got a great personality, so I think she would be a perfect Cadbury Bunny.
Whether Peaches knows it or not, she's been training for this moment.
She knows how to do a little bunny hop. Good girl.
32 animals will battle it out in the bracket-style Instagram tournament, with the public voting in each round. Peaches knows how this is done. Her herd mate, Stewie Vuitton here, was last year's runner-up. The winner earns a cash prize and gets to appear in a Cadbury commercial. Peaches is more than ready for her close-up.
She actually knows how to do selfies. I don't know how, but you pull out your phone and she'll come over and pose with you.
But even more impressive is the work Peaches does with Lifting Spirits miniature therapy horses out of Andover. After being rescued back in 2017 and undergoing surgery, she now provides equine therapy to people of all ages and abilities.
I think she represents overcoming a lot and bringing a lot of cheer and joy and happiness to people.
The voting opens Monday for what they're calling the round of 30 cute. Eventually, the field will be narrowed down to the final 2 animals, and Peaches is hoping to be the last animal standing when voting wraps up on March 23rd. Up next, concerns over a giant 70-foot-long whale on a Florida beach. A 70-foot-long sperm whale washes ashore off the coast of Venice, Florida on Sunday. City officials say the massive animal beached around 7 a.m. several yards away from the Service Club Park on Venice Beach. Authorities say they can tell by the whale's size it's an adult whale and that it appeared thin. Officials are asking people to avoid the area while they are working on helping the whale. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with another look at all the cute kittens at 9 Lives Cat Rescue. From all of us here at KOAM News, have a great night.